They could probably, oh, so you probably don't, oh, so you probably don't need to use the live. Okay, now it's coming up. It says view stream on YouTube.
Okay.
I guess I can click on it and see what happens.
Oh, so you
Oh,
probably
I see it.
use the live. Okay, now it's coming up. It says view stream on YouTube.
Okay, great. Hello, YouTube world. I don't know if you can see me.
So you probably see it. Use the live.
Okay, great.
Okay, now it's coming up. It says view stream on YouTube.
All right. Great. Go. Hello, YouTube world.
I can click on it.
Okay, welcome. I think we are all here and in the correct spot. I hope that you have found us in the cybersphere. We are on YouTube right now, and I hope that you are making your way there in case you are not there already. My name is Ann Pittman. Oh my gosh, I'm so frazzled. I just used my maiden name from only, I don't know, 6 years ago. My name is Ann Sadate. I'm the artistic director of Trinity Street Players, and I am frazzled by technology. However, I am excited by new plays. And so welcome to the new play series with Trinity Street Players. Tonight, we will be reading The Body's Midnight by Tira Palmquist with some amazing Austin artists. One thing that I really love about being able to promote great plays that are still in construction is being able to hear those from Austin actors. I first read/saw this play at Seven Devils New Play Foundry this year and loved it and wondered what could be, if this was something that could potentially be done at Trinity Street Players. And so the new play series invites our board members, some of our invested actors and patrons into my mind, into the mind of an artistic director, and what goes into choosing a play, what levels of diversity are there, from age to gender to nationality to ethnicity to able-bodiedness. What does a play and a playwright bring to the table? And would Trinity Street Players, would it be a good fit with our theater? I also just love introducing new people to new plays. So thank you for being here with us tonight. The Austin actors that I've chosen to read very casually in this Zoom virtual crazy world tonight, come on stage, please. I would love for you to introduce yourselves. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, very good, very good. Please introduce yourselves very briefly, and then we will begin the reading.
I'm Linda Miller-Roff, and I'm playing Anne.
I'm Rommel Sulit, and I'm playing David.
I'm Sarah. We totally practiced this. Hi, I'm Indiia Wilmott, and I'm playing Chorus 3.
Hello, I'm Carl Gonzales. I'm playing Chorus 2.
I'm Sarah Zeringue, and I'm playing Chorus 1.
The Body's Midnight by Tira Palmquist. Time, the present, or close enough. Place, the blue highways between California and parts east. In a kind of hazy light, surrounded by shadow, Anne. She doesn't appear to be talking to anyone in particular, or rather maybe talking to herself, struggling to haul up a memory.
looking at it now, it seems impossible that it was that long ago. I remember when it was new, a tiny tree. It was the only time, I think, it was the only time my mother was here. So that was, but that was years ago. Years. An indeterminate number of years. More than 10, less than 20, somewhere in there. Somewhere in here, that information is locked up. Why can I remember that it came with 3 perfect little limes, but I can't remember the month, the season, the year. I can place it within broader strokes. Katie in high school, the Taliban in the news. Was there a dog? What was I writing? None of that is any less fuzzy. It was just all before. But those 3 perfect limes, I remember those. I remember them perfectly.
The haze clears. She has an audience. A younger man in his early 30s, casual but put together. He hasn't heard any of what she just said. He merely witnessed a long, odd silence. He looks like he's desperately looking for the right thing to say.
Perfect.
Anne?
She looks up. For a moment, it's as if she has never seen him before. Then something clears.
Fox, yes. What were we finished with the garden?
Yes, I was saying how beautiful your citrus trees looked.
Oh, it's a good excuse for gin, or gin's a good excuse for the trees, either, both.
It's a very Southern California garden.
Well, it's taken me long enough to figure it out, how to be a Southern California gardener, that is.
Well, I'm jealous.
Please help yourself to the limes as well as the gin.
Oh, that's not like.
Oh, I shouldn't assume that you drink.
Yes, I drink.
Oh, well, of course, there are other uses for limes besides G&T.
So I hear.
Good. We didn't come out here to talk about limes.
Nope.
Why did we come out here?
The key rock?
Right. Keys.
Anne plucks a set from her pocket.
Bigger one front door, small silver one garage, and the square ones for the neighborhood pool. We never go. You're welcome to. People do laps in the morning. Teenagers get drunk there at night. Between the morning and night, there are endless games of Marco Polo, which make me want to shout, "It's not that fun a game." We keep a spare front door key and a key rock here. We tried to get lots of rocks to look something like it so that people wouldn't walk up in the front yard and say, "Oh, look, a key rock." But honestly, I don't know how successful it is.
They regard the key rock, the other rocks.
It's pretty close.
Well, if you're not comfortable with that, of course, you could hide the extra key somewhere else or just take it inside.
I hate to have someone breaking in on my watch.
Can you call it breaking in if they use a key?
I don't know.
David joins them, carrying some large duffels and camping supplies.
David, is it even called breaking in if you use a key?
Breaking into what? Hey, Fox.
David, hi.
Breaking into anything. I mean, if you gain entry to a place not your own with a key, even if you're not, invited or otherwise, what's the word? Within your rights to be there. There has to be a word for within your rights to be there.
Property?
Not property. You can have rights to be somewhere without owning it.
Why are we talking about this?
The key rock.
And we still have that? I thought we'd found a better solution than a key rock. You might as well just hang an extra key on the door.
It's not that bad.
It isn't that bad.
It's exactly that bad.
Okay, Fox, you can keep the key rock inside. You're probably too young to forget your keys every time you leave the house. Speaking of which, oh, shoot, I'll be right back.
He heads back into the house. He holds up the keys.
But you gave me. Is she? Sorry, but is she?
Oh, sure, just pre-trip stress, all that. Hey, thanks again for taking care of the place.
Hey, I'm just doing it so I can watch your HBO.
No, please enjoy. Somebody should. Anyway, we'll be gone bright and early tomorrow.
And driving for 2-3 weeks?
There will be more stopping than driving.
If I could afford a self-driving car, maybe I'd do a road trip then.
What? You've never gone on a long road trip?
God, no. It just seems so boring. Why drive when you could fly?
The driving is the point.
The point of what? Just the idea of it puts me to sleep.
Hey, do not let Anne hear you say that. She counts the cross-country road trip as an essential rite of passage for all American youth.
I'm not American, and you're not that young.
You're American now, and shut up.
But I was a Canadian youth, and I'm shutting up now.
Okay, the point of the road trip isn't just the destinations.
If you say it's the journey.
Well, it is the journey for Anne. It's also kind of a trip down memory lane. Top of her list is seeing some national monuments she saw when she was a kid, all that.
And top of your list?
To be done with it. Fuck, that just popped out. Didn't it?
Ouch.
I didn't mean that. Not really. It's not that I don't want to go.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Or that I have anything against all that sightseeing. It's just that
Yeah, you really seem like you're looking forward to this trip.
I never did a whole lot of camping as a kid, so I'm trying.
If you have to try to look forward to a trip.
No. I mean, I don't mean to sound pre-trip stress. So yeah, it's going to be a good trip. Everyone should do a long road trip. It's good to see it all.
See what?
America, the real America, not the America on television. To be reminded that it's a big, weird country.
I'm not sure I need to drive to remind me of that. I get reminded of that looking at my Twitter feed.
Okay, that's not an accurate reflection of the country.
Right, because the real America is probably even more terrifying.
All I'm saying is that the most people have no idea what the rest of the country is really like.
Most people don't think they need to.
Exactly. Besides, we haven't been on a vacation for a long time. And, well, I've never gone on a trip like this. We need it. Plus, maybe we'll both take the time to unplug. Got lectures to plan for the fall. She's got a book in the works, and we can take time to do that on the road. I mean, there's only so much hiking a body can do. And then eventually we'll get tired of writing and reading and hiking and camping. And by that point, we'll be in Minneapolis and ready for the baby.
Right, the baby.
Which is the really real point of the trip, right? To see the grandkid.
Okay, but why the road trip before the kid is born?
Well, who knows what'll happen after the baby gets here, how long Katie will need us, if there's a complication or, what have you. Besides, the trip will keep me from calling her every day, asking if she's in labor yet. I can't just say, I wait to see him, not her. Then, a baby.
Check you out, Grandpa.
Oh, stop it. No. Grandpa? No. Teddy asked me what I wanted the kid to call me, Grandpa or Gramps or Pop Pop. I said, are you kidding? I want them to call me Action Dave.
Anne comes back from the house.
That child is not calling you Action Dave. Fox, did I give you your keys?
You did.
Shoot. What was it?
He heads back in. David watches her.
You two going to be okay on this long ass trip?
Of course we are. Now, if you need anything, Sheridan just lives down the block and she has a key too. Franz and his husband across the street can be counted on in a pinch.
What if you need anything?
What do you mean?
And having to rely on this old man to get her across the country?
Oh, yeah. Fuck you.
Hmm.
Text me to let me know everything's good around here.
You better text me so I know you haven't fallen asleep and driven into a cornfield in Idaho.
Iowa. Idaho is potatoes.
Whatever, Gramps. Enjoy your drive.
Yeah, enjoy your HBO.
Anne returns just as Fox heads off.
Bye, Fox. He's a good lad.
He's an assistant professor. I don't think you can call him a good lad.
He's young, younger than us.
We are approaching the age when everyone we know is younger than us.
That's a lie. Take it back.
Did you find what you were looking for?
Got to the middle of the living room and I could not for the life of me remember why I was there.
God, that's our future, isn't it? Both of us doddering from room to room until we exhaust ourselves.
No, at least we'll get exercise.
David's phone rings in his pocket.
My phone. Oh, sorry.
My phone, that's it.
He returns to the house. David retrieves his phone, sees who's calling.
Katie, darling.
Hi, Dad. I tried calling Mom. She didn't pick up.
Katie is noticeably, ponderously pregnant, but this is neither uncomfortable nor comic. She's just like 8 months in and large.
Her phone's gone walkabout. How's the bun?
Still kicking away in the oven.
I remember that.
In point of fact, you don't remember it.
Well, I remember you keeping your mother awake with your kicking, and so I had to be awake for the experience.
Yeah, I don't pity you at all. You and Wolf can have your private commiserations when you get here, but I don't want to hear it.
Put him on now. I'm sure he has stories.
Nope. He's out picking up the changing table.
You don't need a changing table.
Yes, we do. I'm not changing my baby's diapers on the floor.
We change your diapers on the floor.
And I say we need a changing table. Sorry, Dad, but I can't endorse every rejection of personal property you cling to.
I love property. Who's rejecting property?
Just saying, some level of comfort is important.
And I did not mean to diminish your your discomfort.
Thank you. Hey, when exactly do you get to Minneapolis?
Isn't that on the calendar we sent?
The calendar you sent, that Mom sent, had more of a range than a date.
Right, sure. Because who knows exactly when you'll drop the kids.
I wish you wouldn't say drop.
If you begin the wonder of birth sooner than scheduled, we'll haul ass.
Okay, good. And you're ready to head out?
Yep, the house sitter's all squared away. The camper van's all loaded up, except for the last few bags.
An RV. I don't know who you are anymore.
It's not an RV, it's a camper van, our cute little camper van Beethoven.
What?
Camper van Beethoven, the band.
What band?
Did I completely fail you in your cultural upbringing? Camper van Beethoven, they were iconic in 80s indies rock. Take the Skinheads bowling, Our Beloved Revolutionary Sweetheart.
Oh my God, you're distracting me from my point.
She Divines Water, Matchstick Men.
Dad, stop. My point is, I still don't understand why a road trip.
Your mother wants to show me her childhood.
She doesn't have pictures? She could show you pictures.
She wants me to experience her childhood.
Well, I want to go on the record that I don't think it's safe.
It's what your mother wants.
Who knows what might happen while you're out in the wilderness?
What wilderness? We'll be in an RV.
Aha!
We'll be in a camper van, which is practically a house on wheels.
Still, you'll be who knows how far from civilization.
We're just camping. Her doctor's just a phone call away. I have AAA. Okay?
Okay, but you can't keep me from worrying.
I've never been able to do that. Sweetie, I can't imagine how it could make things worse.
I can.
But you know, it might make things better.
How?
I don't know.
Anne comes out of the house with her phone.
Oh, shoot, Katie called.
Hold on. I've got her.
Oh, good.
Let me talk to her.
Here you go.
He hands her his phone.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Mom.
I'm going to keep packing.
They kiss. He goes.
Sweetie, how are you? How's the baby?
Ugh, the baby's being an asshole.
Catherine, babies can't be assholes.
Yes, they can, especially when they're bruising my kidneys.
You did that.
What, so this is karmic retribution? How do I make up for whatever I did to you in utero?
You're doing it now.
So how's the book?
Marinating. You don't want to hear about that.
Yes, I do. I can't wait for your new book.
Well, I can't wait to see all of you. Wolf said you've done a lot of work on the house.
He has, though it's not done. At least the baby's room isn't done.
Well, your room wasn't done till you were 2.
Mom,
Babies don't care about decor.
I care about the decor.
I know.
Can we talk again
Let
about...
me talk to the baby. It's been forever. Let me talk to them.
You know that's weird, right?
A really hard kick.
Mother...
It's not weird. They need to hear my voice.
The baby will hear your voice when you get here.
And so they need to recognize my voice. Now, come on, I'll text you when I'm done.
Katie knows the drill. She holds the phone to her belly.
Hello, darling. How are you in there?
Another solid kick.
Ow!
Oh, be good to your mother. She's the only one you've got. When I'd walk, she'd fall asleep. Oh, reminder of that, the walking, not the kicking. I guess I can't really keep you from kicking. You don't even have a sense that you're a separate person right now, right? That's kind of amazing, isn't it? That until you're born, you don't really know that someone else is other, that you're you and she's not you. It's amazing.
Another gentler kick.
I love you. And I love your mother too. Okay. And I'll see you soon and you'll be in the world and I'll get to hold you. And I'm getting all weepy now. That's enough though, huh? Okay, give me back to your mother.
Anne types something like done and sends the text. Katie's phone buzzes.
Hey, I don't know what magic you've got, but the kicking stopped.
Mom magic. You're welcome. Now, look, I have to finish packing.
No, wait, Mom, you haven't said anything
We're just about ready.
about how you are.
I am fine.
You're fine.
That's right. No tumors.
I know there are no tumors.
Now, you're getting upset. I don't want to make you upset in your condition.
Like worrying about my mother will induce labor.
You have to worry about your blood pressure. But I really have to go now.
Can you just hold on for 10?
I've got so much to pack, and then it's up at 0:30.
Mom,
Honey, I'm fine. Everything's going to be fine. We'll be together in no time.
you have to promise to call
We will.
at regular intervals.
Please stop worrying.
I'll worry if I want to.
Yeah, I know. I love you.
I love you too, Mom. Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
She hangs up and Katie is gone. David is there, having heard the last part of the conversation.
Well, that was charmingly uncommunicative.
What?
I'm fine.
I am fine.
Well, that's not the point.
I think she's worried that we won't get there before she goes into labor.
That's not what she's worried about.
First babies are typically late anyway.
She's worried about you
She doesn't need to be,
because there are no tumors.
which is the truth.
Like, I do not have tentacles is also the truth.
I don't know why we have to keep talking about this. You have to let me, what is the word? Process. Yes, process this the way I want to, which is maybe not talking all the fucking time about it.
Okay.
An embrace, a kiss.
I love you, robot.
I love you, monster.
Another kiss. She hands him his phone.
I got to finish packing the cooler.
I'm right behind you.
Okay.
He goes back to the house. She tries to breathe and calm herself. The buzzing and thrumming and clicking of a large machine begins, almost imperceptibly, growing in volume and intensity. She breathes and breathes. The buzzing and thrumming and clicking transmutes into tires on the road, engine. And then Anne and David are in camper van Beethoven. He drives, she sleeps. She wakes, still in the deep fog of a dream.
Watch out for you can't see
Honey,
I can't hear the fog.
what?
She blinks and wakes, utterly confused, utterly unsure where or when she is. She looks at him. Some of her confusion is sleep clearing.
Hi,
I gotta check for,
are you still asleep?
no.
Are you sure?
They look at each other and both laugh.
Shit.
I should have recorded that one.
I'm awake. Where are we?
Still in California, almost to Barstow.
Is that all?
That is indeed all.
Ah, feels like days since.
Are you sure you're awake?
No, it's just feeling like your body's in one time zone and your brain is in another. Like you land somewhere and everyone's still awake and alert, but you're like, it's midnight in here, fuckers. Give me a sec. I'll be with you in a midnight. I mean a minute.
Because I could not stop for death, they can only stop for me.
The carriage held
Hell, just
ourselves
ourselves
and immortality.
mortality.
We slowly drove.
drove. He knew no haste.
And I had put
Put away
my
my labor and my leisure too for his ability.
We passed the something recess in the ring. We passed the something. What is it? How does that line end?
Yeah, I don't know the rest of that one.
Oh, this one. I tie my hat, I crease my shawl. Life's little duties do precisely. Yeah, it doesn't really work.
Not every Emily Dickinson works with the Yellow Rose of Texas.
Most of them work. Do you remember any more Dickinson?
No.
So many first lines. I'm nobody, who are you? Or I heard a fly buzz when I died. Or I taste a liquor never brewed. Or there is another loneliness.
How the fuck does that one go?
Like I said, all these first lines and
I need a pee soon.
oh, Calico Ghost Town, we should go there.
Definitely not.
Where is your sense of adventure?
There is nothing, I repeat, nothing adventurous about Calico Ghost Town.
Look, it's the same exit and everything.
I'm just stopping to pee, maybe to get gas.
And chocolate?
We have chocolate.
We have nice chocolate. I want terrible chocolate.
Your wish is my command.
Which shifts to a gas station parking lot, perhaps a sign that indicates the direction toward Calico Ghost Town. It is sunny and too fucking hot. David is now practically hopping from having to pee, and Anne is still somewhat groggy or grumpy, perhaps an incipient something, perhaps a headache.
Don't forget the chocolate.
How's your head?
I just need chocolate and water.
You sure you're okay?
Yes, I'm great. Go.
Oh, in case you want to get back in the van.
He tosses her the keys.
It's like 185 degrees in there. I'll wait.
be right back.
Anne stretches. It's good to be out of the car, but it is so very fucking hot. And also there's this incipient headache. She tries to stretch out the kinks of the road.
Jesus, it's like Mars out here.
That's a common misconception.
Fuck.
This stranger seems to Anne to have just fucking materialized out of thin air, but has in fact been standing there for a bit.
Sorry, but Mars can really be quite cold even in their daytime. I mean, at the equator, at their equator, it only gets to about like 20 degrees Celsius, which is 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But because the atmosphere on Mars is so much thinner than Earth, it doesn't retain heat. And so the nights are really quite cold.
She looks at this odd gentleman who seems an unlikely candidate for knowing much about Mars, being dressed, for all the world, like a kind of modern-day prospector or prospector cosplay.
I stand corrected.
You need water.
The stranger puts a bottle of water in Anne's hand. It may be unopened, but then again,
Oh, I shouldn't.
she tries to give it back.
You don't have water.
Well, I've
It's important to hydrate. It's very hot.
I'm fine.
I know that people say I'm fine when they really mean something else, like I don't want to talk to you, or this is too personal, or something really rude that I won't repeat to you because I don't know you at all. But I want to assure you that this water is unopened.
He
I
opens
have
the
5.
flap of a saddlebag he wears over his shoulder.
I have 5
Purses?
bottles of water. Hydration is important. And this is a saddlebag, not a purse. Although I don't necessarily think that purse is insulting or only for the feminine person. I just think it's important to use the right terminology.
It is.
So
Yes.
please, the water is yours. You should be more careful.
Of
So many things, mostly at the moment wandering off without proper
I'm not
precaution,
wandering.
without adequate supplies, without a good, solid plan.
David comes back carrying 2 bottles of water, eyeing this dude with suspicion. He hands one of the bottles to Anne. Now she has 2 bottles. She holds the cold bottle to her temple, the base of her neck.
You'll like Calico.
We are not heading to Calico.
Do you need water?
No thanks, buddy.
It's Franklin.
Thanks, Franklin.
Franklin, no fool, takes a step back.
Your companion seemed dehydrated, and as I have several extra waters, I offered her one. It's nothing. I thought you were going to Calico.
Why, are you like the Calico Park Ranger or something?
That is not... Calico doesn't... Most people do.
What?
Go to Calico.
Cite your source.
What? I'm not a ranger.
So you're just offering waters to strangers out of the goodness of your heart?
I find that people who aren't used to traveling in the Southwest often underestimate the amount of hydration necessary to avoid heat prostration.
That's absolutely true.
Okay. If you're not a ranger, then what's with the getup?
David,
The getup? You mean my outfit?
Yeah, the outfit. I mean, it's
I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. You see by my outfit that I am one too. We see by our outfits that we are both cowboys. If you get an outfit, you could be a cowboy too.
wow.
okay.
What you said reminded me of that song my grandfather used to sing. Isn't it funny? Isn't it like, though, of course, I know you're not dressed like a cowboy, and I'm not either, of course. I'm dressed like a prospector. Is there an appropriate response to this? You should go to Calico Ghost Town.
I said that, didn't I?
You should. It's my favorite ghost town.
You have a favorite.
Well, favorite mining town. I take a special interest in the history of mining in the American West, but I particularly like Calico. I go several times a year.
It's not a real ghost town, though.
Yes, it is.
No, what I mean, obviously, is that there are no ghosts. So
There are absolutely no ghosts there.
it's just a campy pretend ghost town.
It's real. It was real then, and it is real now. It was brought up to be fixed up as a roadside attraction, but it's real and it's history. And if you went, you know that no one thinks that ghost town means that it's haunted. It's just that it's just a term that they use.
Buddy, I mean, Franklin, I am sorry. We didn't mean anything.
Then why did you say it if you didn't mean it? You should say what you mean. You should tell the truth.
Franklin, we're sorry. Please take your water
No,
back.
you touched it. It is yours. No matter what, you need to be careful.
Franklin leaves.
Wow.
I should have just taken the water and said thank you.
Do not drink it.
I won't.
Ah, I forgot the chocolate. I'll be right back.
David jogs back to the gas station. A new traveler appears. She looks, thank goodness, normal. She's wearing a trucker hat, a work shirt that identifies her as Windy, Windy.
I'll take it if you're not going to drink it.
I'm sorry, what?
Windy takes the water.
You shouldn't worry about Franklin. He's really harmless. This is my normal route. I see him 2-3 times a year. Kind of comforting that he's still around.
You're gonna drink that?
Isn't it sealed?
She opens the bottle with a satisfying new bottle crack.
See? Sealed.
But
Windy
it could be,
from the water.
but it could be
Ah, that's the ticket.
poisoned.
You got a suspicious mind.
No, I'm just, what's the word?
Cautious, worried,
No,
distrustful, paranoid.
no, fuck. No, the word's gone right out of my head.
Sorry. Just trying to be helpful.
Anne takes out a bandana and to mop the sweat gathering in inconvenient locations.
You headed to Calico?
No, just traveling.
Yeah, I can see that. I saw you got out of that camper thingy. So where are you headed? West? East?
Well, all over, cross-country trip, seeing all the big sites.
Here we go.
Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, the Missouri Arch thingy.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Those places are so normy.
What is it with this rest stop?
David returns with aforementioned chocolate.
Why don't you take a shit in every McDonald's from here to Chicago and call it the Great American Adventure?
All right, that's not that.
Every time I stop here, I ask, hey, traveler, where are you headed? And every time it's the same goddamn thing. Mount Rushmore, the Space Needle, Orlando, blah, blah, blah.
What do you care if anyone does any of those things? They're popular sites.
Exactly. So they don't need you. You want an adventure? Get off the freeway and see some shit. You want to live your life like a BuzzFeed list? Be my guest. Or you can seek out something actually interesting in this country. I mean, TikTok. Time's a wasting, friends.
Okay. Whoa.
What I'm saying is that there are still surprises out there. Things that are genuinely good and wonderful out there. The world's largest donut, or the 3-headed goat, or the largest Jesus made of cheese. The prairie, for the love of God, the prairie.
I appreciate your passion here, but
I spend my life on the interstate. It's like one zombie crawl of the worst of America that keeps eating up more and more of what it used to be. You know, interesting. I just wish more people would realize that. But you do what you want to do. I'm not the boss of you.
She turns to go, spots something on the ground, picks it up, and hands it to Anne.
You drop this.
And Windy is gone.
I didn't.
what is it?
Penny, an old wheat penny.
No shit. Some of those are worth a lot of money. What year?
1958.
Well, hang on to it. We can give it to the kid.
A penny? That's not a present.
Could be worth something.
Find the penny, pick it up.
And apple flower sunrise cup.
What?
The thing from your appointment, the 5 words.
Were those the 5 words?
Hard to forget. Sorry.
Penny, apple, flower, sunrise, cup.
Man, woman, person, camera, TV. Yeah. I can guarantee you it was never those 5 words. All right. Back in the fan.
He starts in that direction and is elsewhere. He returns to her.
Anne, come on, the Grand Canyon awaits. We have a check-in time to get to.
What if we don't?
What?
What if instead we do what Wendy said?
Wendy? That was her name?
It's what her thingy on her shirt said. What if we did that?
Took a shit in every McDonald's?
No, the other thing. See some weirder stuff. Get off the interstate.
Okay, hold on. Rather you spent a lot of time on our itinerary. You made plans.
So I made plans. We can throw away the plans.
Hold on.
Listen, if there are places getting eaten up by time or progress,
You propose that we're somehow going to stop time or progress.
please listen. If we see them, maybe they won't. No, don't. Maybe they won't disappear entirely. That's what she meant. The stuff that's disappearing, the prairie, the little towns, the 2-headed lamps and the butter Jesus.
Cheese Jesus.
He's Jesus. But yeah, let's do that.
You spent a lot of time on those plans.
Did I? Now I want something more.
So we're gonna redo all that.
Tonight at the Grand Canyon, we'll make a new plan. Please? Please?
Okay, we'll make a new plan. You want this chocolate now or in the cooler?
Now,
He exchanges the chocolate for the keys, heads to the car.
penny, apple, chocolate, no. Penny, apple, farthing. Shit.
Anne puts the penny in her pocket, puts the chocolate and water in her backpack, and wipes off sweat one more time. She stuffs the bandana in her pocket, only she misses and it falls to the ground. The humming and clicking begins again. The world goes a little darker.
So here's the next part. I'm going to give you 5 words now, and I'll ask you for them later. Ready? Here they are. Penny, apple, flower, sunrise, cup.
You want me to,
Say them after me and try to remember them until the end of the test. I'll say them again. Penny, apple, flower, sunrise, cup.
penny, apple, flower, sunrise, cup.
The humming, clicking, throbbing mechanical sounds start to fade.
I am supposed to remember these words, which should be easy, which sounds easy, which I want so very badly to be easy. Penny, apple, flower.
Sounds and lights shift. We're in a doctor's office. Anne and David are waiting with the thin veneer of patience. The doctor wheels on quickly in a rolling chair, picks up the bandana and pockets it.
So, the headaches were frequent.
No,
Yes. Yes. They were.
not daily. I get a lot of headaches.
And sometimes a headache is just a headache. But it's good that you came in.
We've been trying not to let our imagination run riot.
Good. I shall arm you with the facts. Shall we? Take a look at your brain?
They nod. The doctor opens a laptop or other device. Possibly projections appear of the MRI.
Look at that. Your brain. Mostly, it's a great looking brain.
Thank you.
Cool.
The ventricles are the right size and shape, no malformations, no clots, nothing like that. And the really good news is that there are no tumors, no evidence of MS, and thankfully, no signs of what we'd expect if you'd had long-term trauma or the kind of changes in the lobes we'd see in other degenerative diseases.
Like Alzheimer's.
Like that.
So it's not.
The MRI didn't show that, no.
But,
Excuse me?
sorry, I thought I heard a but.
Yes. Well,
She skips forward a few slides, points to things on each side.
here, here, and here we see.
The buzzing becomes very, very loud so that we can no longer hear the doctor's explanation. Abruptly, Anne stands. The slides shift to static and fuzz. The doctor, David, and the doctor's office all roll away. Anne remains frozen in place. The buzzing becomes echoey, distant.
Penny, apple. Fuck. I think that it's right there. I can see the edges of the answer and something slips. There's a gap or a hole where the memory should be. A fog, a kind of blanket of fog keeps me from seeing it, hearing it.
The buzzing shifts to the loud, regular call of cicadas. We're at a campground at the Grand Canyon. Anne is standing, lost in thought. David comes out with several paper state maps, the accordion fold type AAA maps, rolling a cooler behind him.
Good spot, huh?
Too bad we're not closer to the rim, the edge. I'm trying to remember where we camped when I was a kid. I don't think it was here.
What? This is okay?
No, of course this is okay. It's beautiful. Scary, but beautiful.
What do you mean scary?
We went down this canyon into the canyon on those mules or donkeys, burros, whatever. That was the scary part.
I am not doing that.
My mother was so excited to ride that donkey. I thought I was going to throw up.
You are really selling the donkey ride, my friend.
She sees what he has.
You have maps.
I do. See how smart I was to pack all these? And you mocked me.
I didn't mock you.
What on earth will we need those for? You mocked.
Well, I just figured, we have these.
She holds up her phone.
And your signal?
Oh,
Okay. Time for our new plan.
He begins to set up, unfolding the maps, holding their corners down with rocks.
I was thinking, what if we didn't plan? You could just choose a direction and we just drive, see what we find. And when we find something, stop.
What if we don't find anything?
If we don't find anything, we change direction.
We do have a grandchild arriving in approximately 3 weeks.
It's about being brave.
I have nothing against being brave. We might want to have a little more structure than that. I don't want to get lost.
That's not going to happen.
The thousands of people get lost in the wilderness every year would take issue with your flippant dismissal of their plight.
Thousands.
Thousands. I read an article.
Cite your source.
I don't remember, but you have to trust me. It's a lot. It's a big fucking country, and people are by and large fucking idiots.
He opens a couple beers from the cooler, hands her one. They study the maps as they drink.
You'd think it would be impossible to get lost in America.
Seems like more like a foregone conclusion. I mean, look at all this space, all this nothing.
It's not nothing.
Okay, not nothing, all this undeveloped land. And people don't even know what direction the sun sets or how to read a shadow or a map. I guarantee you there are people who walk off into the woods and just don't know how to get out again.
I think it's more likely that people come looking for something grand and get distracted by something shiny, and the next thing you know, they're on a sugar high at some mall.
Okay, the plan, what are we looking for? Touristy things?
Think things that might not be here in a few years. Bear's ears, Big Sur. What?
I mean, we just drove here, and now you want to drive all the way there?
Well, no matter what, it's going to be a lot of driving.
Most of which you are not doing.
Wait, are you mad about that?
I'm not mad. I just don't want to zigzag wildly through the entire American West.
Well, you sound mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not really. I just might need a minute with the new plans. It's just unsettling at the very least to have things changing on me like this.
I didn't mean to unsettle you.
All right.
To the map.
Bodie, another mining town. Fano Lake.
I don't want you to be mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. Oh, the petroglyphs. You want to see the petroglyphs?
Are they disappearing?
They're threatened. I'm really not mad at you.
You look mad.
It's just my face. See? Here's one, another ghost town, St. Elmo.
Is it a mining town?
Probably. It's Colorado.
Franklin's probably there waiting for us.
You can't be at every mining town.
I think Franklin is actually a ghost who pops up at every ghost town just to make sure the term is accurate.
Hey, what about Glacier National Park?
Oh, right. Of course, the glaciers are disappearing.
The glaciers are definitely disappearing.
Anne begins gathering up the maps.
Great. That's our next stop.
Whoa, hold on. They're not disappearing right now.
We know where we're going.
But we don't have to go this minute. I mean, we've got our campsite here for a night or two, and we can fill out the plan, make a clearer, fuller plan.
Feels like a plan to me.
We don't need to rush it.
Yes, we do. What we choose to do matters. When we choose to do it matters.
Are we talking about the vacation or something else?
Either, both. Every minute that we're doing what we do matters. And I want to see them, all the disappearing things.
Seeing them will keep them from disappearing.
It might. Or maybe it doesn't, but maybe. It's the seeing, the act of seeing, the witnessing.
I get it. Apocalypse tourism.
The very last road trip before the end of the world.
They laugh. One of the maps blows away. David tries to get it, runs off. She looks for and finds another rock. The buzzing of the cicadas becomes the clicking of the giant machine. Anne is in growing darkness. She stands holding the rock.
The very last road. The very last.
She looks at the rock. How did it get there?
I remember the very first time it happened, the day I couldn't remember the word for hairbrush. It was just a headache, I thought. It was just, well, I didn't know what it was, but I was alone, and then words began to slip from me, just fall out of my ears was how it felt. I remember thinking, well, this is really, really something. There's a word for that.
She looks at the rock in her hand.
There's a word for this. Heavy, weighty, dangerous. Right, of course. Rocky. Rocky can mean both even and dependable, as well as shaky and feeble. No wonder words fail us. No wonder we fail words.
The clicking of the great machine settles into the rustling of a grove of quaking aspens. Anne puts the beer and her rock in her backpack. Anne and David are hiking. It's been a hike, let me tell you, with a pretty steep incline ahead of them.
This is nice.
Nice. This is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Why didn't anyone tell me that Utah is fucking gorgeous?
Wow, pretty.
So pretty.
A hiker comes up the trail behind them.
On your right.
Oh, sorry.
Have a good hike.
Yeah, you too.
And the hiker has passed them by. David watches them go.
I didn't think I was that slow.
I'm sorry that I can't be faster.
I didn't mean that.
Just
You know,
not
that you're-
enough oxygen.
We're up at what, 8,000 feet? It'll feel like that.
Yeah, I noticed.
Let's take a break.
No, I can keep going.
It's not a race.
I think it might be.
Absolutely not. We need to pace ourselves, right?
He sits and holds a hand to her. She joins him. They share sips of water. Then they hear the unmistakable quaking of the aspens.
What is that sound?
The trees, I think.
Listen to
aspen?
them. Listen to them.
They close their eyes and listen to the wind shake them, the beautiful quaking sound it makes.
I can listen to that all day.
Oh, me too. Great, let's get going.
What's your hurry? Come on, we've done a lot today.
The petroglyphs didn't take that long.
But we also saw the dinosaur tracks.
I feel like those don't count. They're not going anywhere.
Fair.
Plus, I thought you wanted to get to the giant soda cans today in Miss Mary's Historical Museum.
Yeah, we can see those tomorrow.
I just don't want to miss anything.
I know. We might make it to Idaho tomorrow, too.
What's disappearing in Idaho, I wonder?
Wild salmon, I think.
Really?
I think I read that somewhere.
Well, I guess we shouldn't eat any wild salmon then.
Or we eat more of it. You eat it to save it.
How does that work?
Creating markets, motivation for greater conservation efforts is the way I understand it.
Huh, eat it to save it.
Listen to the trees and think about this.
You know, we could still go to Yellowstone. It's on the way.
Yellowstone. I went there when I was a kid. It was the first time I saw a bear.
I know. That's why it was on our original itinerary.
Oh. All right, but never mind.
But I've never been there, so we could still go, right?
Right, of course we could.
A park ranger comes up the trail. She fucking loves her job. She has a sprig of wildflower in her hand.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Great day for a hike, huh?
Gorgeous day.
Ranger Candy at your service. You folks all right?
Oh, yeah. Just taking a break.
Thinking about salmon.
Listen to the trees.
They're beautiful.
They are.
They are, but more like it's beautiful.
It's
What you're looking at, listening to, the trees, is a big, beautiful, singular thing.
I'm having a hard time thinking of them in any way but plural.
I can see that. But look out there. What do you see?
Trees. Lots of trees.
And you think those are lots of individual trees.
Those aren't lots of individual trees.
This is the pando,
Pando?
The what?
the trembling giant, the pando, Latin for I spread. All of these trees out there, they don't just look the same, they are the same. They are all genetically identical, each tree sprouting from the giant lateral root of the parent. They are clones, but also part of the same body because they are all connected and by that same root system. Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
The aspens. They're all connected.
They are. And this is one of the largest and oldest living organisms on the earth.
How old is it?
The root system is thousands of years old.
Wow.
Sad to think then that it probably won't be here for thousands more years.
Wait, what?
Yep, it's true. The pando is shrinking little by little each year.
Is that natural?
Drought, grazing, development, not natural at all.
Oh, oh no.
Oh, yes. So we should all enjoy its stunning beauty while we can.
Ranger Candy takes in the stunning beauty. They are just a little stunned.
I think this is the best way to live your life, don't you?
Pardon?
What you're doing right now. No need to rush. What do they say? Be here now.
I honestly just needed to catch my breath.
And that too, yes. But to know a thing, to really know a thing, you have to be part of it or be willing to.
The wind picks up. They listen.
You'll enjoy the campground too.
Wait, there's a campground?
We could camp inside the pando?
You can't. I thought that's where you were going. Well, you are in for a treat.
Ranger Candy pulls out a map and a pamphlet.
Here's where you are,
Points at the
and the
map.
closest campground is here, Dr. Creek.
Name for any particular doctor?
Probably a doctor who died in the creek. No, I don't know. Anyway, you could hike right in or you can drive in too.
She hands the map and pamphlet to David, who studies them.
That's a lovely wildflower.
Oh, this is just a weed. Purple loosestrife. Thithrum salicaria.
It's still beautiful.
It is.
David looks up from the map.
Can we keep these?
Of course, I have oodles.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Now, be on the lookout for rattlesnakes out here. You might also see bear, coyote, mountain lions, elk, but it's the snakes you want to watch out for. Have a good day.
David studies the map. Ranger Candy hands the flower to Anne and hikes off.
We have to stay here. I mean the campground.
What about getting to Idaho?
Idaho will be there tomorrow.
What about the snakes?
But what about the pando? We could camp inside it. David.
He sees the flower.
Where'd you get that?
What?
The flower.
She looks down.
I don't know. But we're here. Let's camp here tonight.
Well, what about the snakes? The bears?
She said there might be bears.
If someone takes the time to warn you about bears, you worry.
We're in a van.
I hear that bears can open car doors.
That's ridiculous.
I'm driving away at the first hint of a bear.
What is the first hint of bear?
I believe they huff.
According to whom?
David Attenborough and Ranger Candy. She can confirm the huffing thing, I bet. So, you really want to camp here?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's get back to Camper Van Beethoven and see if we can find a good camping spot.
Anne looks again at the flower in her hand and then puts it in her backpack. The quaking of the aspen become the ticking and whirring of a great machine. Anne is in a deep shadow in a weird diffused yellow light.
Okay, we're going to begin again, Anne. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Good. All right. Hold your breath.
Click, 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 whir, click, click. We hear Anne's breathing magnified as if through headphones.
And breathe naturally. Hold your breath.
Click, 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 whir, click, click.
And breathe naturally.
Anne's breathing becomes deeper. The whirring and clicking become the trill and call of morning birds. At their Dr. Creek campsite the next morning, it is a cool, slightly foggy morning. Anne pulls on a thick sweater or flannel shirt and cozies herself up in one of those fold-up camping chairs. She pulls out a writing notebook and pen, but soon the notebook sits open in her lap, her gaze fixed on the middle distance, her thoughts elsewhere. David comes out of the camper van with 2 cups of coffee. He comes over to her, holding out her cup.
Good morning, Monster.
Uh-huh.
Still totally lost in her thoughts, she sets the cup down on the ground.
Keep going. I'm not even here.
He goes to get his own folding camping chair. He comes back, sets it up, sits, sips his coffee. She looks up and sees him.
Do I get coffee?
He gets up, picks up her coffee, puts it in her hand, and returns to his chair.
Thank you, robot.
You're welcome, Monster.
This is very good.
You go back to writing.
She looks at her empty notebook.
Or you're not writing.
Not writing is also writing.
Uh-huh.
Staring into space is an important part of my process.
I know. Continue.
They sip their coffee, the trees quake.
It's sobering, isn't it?
The coffee? Yes.
You are hilarious. No, this. That we're sitting inside one of the world's oldest, largest organisms. And it's disappearing too.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know about it.
Uh-huh.
So how many other things are literally vanishing right under our noses?
I don't know.
I'm having a hard time finding words for that kind of.
A sudden grunt of pain. She drops the notebook and sloshes her coffee. David hops up in alarm.
Whoa, whoa.
Head? Yeah, it's fine.
Look at me.
David.
Smile.
He knows what he's doing and resents it.
It's just a headache. Stop it.
We're in the middle of nowhere and I'm all you've got, so will you smile for me, lady?
She grudgingly goes along with it and smiles, which he studies carefully, knowing what he's looking for.
I wish the doctor had never taught you that test.
Arms.
He holds her arms up, being careful not to spill her coffee.
It's just a headache.
And I'm just being attentive.
Attend to your coffee. I just need a minute.
He watches as she massages her neck, her temples. David's phone rings. It's Katie's ringtone.
Oh, shit. We forgot to call her.
Shit.
Katie, darling, I know we're supposed to call. I'm so sorry.
Katie appears with Wolf, who is gently massaging her lower back. They're on speakerphone.
You'd better be.
I keep telling her that she should just let you two have your vacation.
Wolf, hey, how's the handyman?
It took me like 5 hours to put together the changing table, and I somehow have 2 mystery screws left over.
It's fine. It looks great.
It looks great. I just hope it doesn't collapse under the weight of the baby.
There's always extra hardware. So, Wolf, on a scale of 1 to you can never see your grandchild, how much trouble are we in?
I'm just checking on your progress. How's the Grand Canyon?
As fate would have it, we're on a bit of a detour.
Shit, I knew it. What happened?
Let's take it down a notch. You have your OB checkup today. Nothing happened, right?
No, we're just in Utah near Fish Lake.
Utah? Why Utah?
It's a little hard to explain.
Explaining things is like your job.
We're in a pando.
What? You're in a panda?
No,
No. Pando.
the trembling giant.
What is Mom shouting about? Put us on speakerphone.
He does.
What are you saying, Mom?
We're in the pando. We're in the largest organism on Earth.
One of the largest organisms on Earth. We're camping here.
How can you be camping in an organism?
It's a huge grove of aspens, all genetically identical. So it's like all one big tree in a way.
The trembling giant. I spread.
Yeah.
Are you high?
Katie, it's like 8 a.m. They're not high.
He calls her Kate. Did we know that?
Yes, we did.
They could be high.
We've never gotten high.
Sure, fine. You've totally never gotten high. Let's talk instead about how you're currently in a whole other state than the state you told me you'd be in.
The OB is going to be pissed if your blood pressure is through the roof today. Calm down.
I'm plenty fucking calm.
Let me talk to the baby.
Yeah, let your mom talk to the baby.
Let me talk to the baby.
Fine. Talk to the baby, and then you'll explain why you are absolutely not sticking to your plans.
Anne and David both begin addressing the baby, happily, soothingly, perhaps animatedly. Instead of lowering her phone to her belly, Katie holds the phone so she and Wolf can listen to the conversation.
Hey, baby. Is there a name yet?
David shakes his head.
Hey there. It's Action Dave.
You can't call him Action Dave.
Yes, you can.
Oh, guess what? We saw some dinosaur prints
And petroglyphs.
and we went hiking.
Oh, and a couple of days ago, we met a prospector.
He wasn't a prospector.
Just dressed like one. I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. You see by my outfit that I am one too.
We see by our outfits.
We see by our outfits
are
that we are both cowboys.
If you get an
outfit,
you can be
you
a
can
cowboy,
be a cowboy
too.
What are you saying?
You're not supposed to be listening.
We're not listening.
Give us back to the baby.
No. You have some explaining to do.
It's simple. The itinerary has changed a little.
Clearly.
We're going to all the disappearing places.
What? What's disappearing?
I'll send you an email later with a new plan.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Honey, please don't get worked up.
I'm not worked up.
Well, we need to leave soon, so maybe we should.
Damn it. Fine.
Tell you what, I'll call you later.
And when you do, you'll give me a better idea of where exactly you're going.
If we know where we're going.
Hold on.
Honey, deep breaths. It was good to talk to you guys, but we gotta go.
But
Understood. Later.
Call me.
Have fun in the panda.
Katie and Wolf are gone. Anne looks at the phone.
She shouldn't be so.
Worried, upset, worked up.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
Sorry.
I wish we could do the thingy.
Anne does the Vulcan gesture at his head.
Do you want me to say
Yes, I want you to say
Vulcan mind meld?
Vulcan mind meld. If we could do that, Then you wouldn't have to keep guessing the wrong word.
Where's science fiction when you need it, huh?
So, yes, Katie, so upset. As if we've never taken a trip before,
This isn't just another trip.
isn't it?
No, we're traipsing about in the wilderness. No meaningful outdoor survival training.
This is hardly a survival situation.
Well, for her it is, and she just wants to know that you're okay.
I'm okay. What do you mean? Of course I'm okay.
But I think we could do that for her at least. Write up a better agenda where we're going to be and let them know. Right?
Sure. Okay. I guess.
David sits back and sips his coffee.
So let's sketch it out. How many days do we stay in the Pando? Now they've got me doing it.
Days? You want to stay for days?
I do. Plus, it would give you a chance to have a little peace and quiet to relax, right?
Sure.
Besides, it's so beautiful here. We have a good campsite.
What about Idaho, Yellowstone, the salmon?
We'll get to them. Oh, we could sleep under the stars.
What?
We could lie naked under the stars.
This is a remarkable U-turn for someone afraid of bears.
Being naked will make me especially alert to their huffing.
Yeah, it'll make you especially alert to something.
Exactly.
And then you point out constellations and tell me things about them.
I don't know the first thing about any of that. Venus, Mars, the Dippers, the guy with the belt,
Orion.
Orion, and that's about it. I think we can enjoy them without naming them.
Sure we can.
So, can we stay just a little longer?
I'll think about that.
You think about that.
I just want a good trip.
It is a good trip.
Shit. We could have a terrible trip and I might not remember that.
You'll remember.
You'll be able to say, no, honey, it was great. And I'll go, right, of course.
I won't lie.
How will I know?
David holds up her notebook and pen.
Do what you do best.
Stare meaningfully into the middle distance.
Would more coffee help?
Couldn't hurt.
The quaking of the aspen becomes the ticking and whirring of a loud fluorescent buzzing. Anne returns to a shadowy moment, a memory of the doctor's office. In this version of the memory, David isn't there. The doctor rolls in again with brain scans.
Your brain. It's a good brain.
Is it?
Do you know about the brain?
Do I know what?
Well, I just want to make sure that I'm not condescending to you. I'm never sure what a patient knows or assumes or has misconstrued about the inner workings of their own noggin.
Well, I know there are lobes.
Right. Hey, can I?
The doctor takes her pen and uses it to point out various parts of the brain.
The lobes. Frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital.
And the lizard brain part.
Right. The medulla and the brainstem.
I think there's a section called the Wernicke process.
You've done your homework, I see. Yes, Wernicke's area and Broca's area. The former important in language development, and the latter related to the production of speech. Important that you brought those up, yes.
And some glands. I can't remember their names.
The thalamus and hypothalamus.
But that's really all I know. Oh, the thing that connects the two halves of the brain.
The corpus callosum, yes. But there's one more part that I wanted to talk about today. This incredibly important part of the brain, the hippocampus, right here, right next to the medial temporal lobe. This little guy is part of the limbic system, and it's crucial to memory or memories, how they get processed, how they get stored.
Uh-huh.
And the great news is this is all fine. You've got a great brain, and nice to meet you.
The doctor rolls away with scans and the pen. David appears with more coffee.
What?
The ticking and whirring of a great machine begins softly. They are somehow in this fog and in the campground both at the same time.
I've got a great brain.
That is not what happened.
The ticking and whirring of a great machine get louder and louder, and then crickets, literal crickets. It's a few days later at Glacier National Park. Anne is bringing things out to a fire pit so they can cook dinner.
You sure this is a good idea?
This is a great idea. It's not camping if you don't eat something you cooked over an open flame.
I'm not questioning that.
My dad would say if you can stab it with a stick, you can cook it in a fire.
I mean, I'm not even sure we can have a fire.
I am. I saw the danger signs.
Did you?
I saw them. They said low. I got everything I need. I found some firewood and
Holding up some little sticks,
Kindling?
holding up a jug of water,
Water.
and
this guy.
he holds up a shovel.
So everything's fine.
It wasn't your fire safety knowledge that I questioned.
I took the course.
I know you did. You got 100% in everything.
So
I mean, maybe I should call the ranger station.
it said low.
I'll call the ranger station.
You don't need to call.
We can cook in the camper van.
Yeah, and we can cook out here too. Plus, it'll be nice to have a campfire.
Ranger Wendy, Wendy, appears.
Well, hey there, Ranger Candy. They have you working a pretty big beat.
What?
From Fish Lake, Utah to here. That's a big distance to travel for work.
Read the badge.
She points to her
Ne-
name.
Name's Wendy.
Oh, Wendy? Sorry, you just look.
You
Like-
think all us Rangers look alike?
No, you do not. Ranger Wendy, sorry.
I've been working Glacier National Park for 13 years, and by God, it's the only park I want to work. Park and me will die together. Now, what are you up to?
Dinner.
That's okay. A fire?
You've passed your fire safety course?
She did, 100%.
She inspects her water and shovel and the whole setup.
Yeah, you're good. Proceed.
I'm getting a beer.
Me too, please.
Yeah, I take a beer.
Sure.
David goes into the camper van.
You been camping here before?
No, we came to see the glaciers.
Well, I could have guessed that. It's like administering last rites, this job. The longest, most painful last rites. You know how many glaciers there were like back in the 1800s? 150. You know how many glaciers are left? 25. And do you know when there will be 0 glaciers?
No.
Current estimate, 2030. That's the blink of an eye. And then, what will I do?
The park will still be here.
The remains will be here. A monument to a fucking travesty. That's what will be here.
I'm sorry.
Why? You didn't start climate change? It's not a new thing, is what I'm saying. Park rangers, my 4 rangers, began to note their decline back in 1918, 1919. And people did what? Bubkiss.
David returns with beers.
Jeez. Listen to me rant. Just pissed off and exhausted.
Aren't we all?
Are you? Do you have 1,000 square miles of patrol with no fucking backup?
No.
This is good. Which wouldn't be a problem if people could be trusted, if people could be on their honor. I mean, we ask people, do not walk on the glaciers. Do not like tromp all over them. There are only 25 of them left. But do people listen? No. People want to do that. They think it's cute. They think it's Instagrammable. They think it's their God-given right. But Jiminy Christmas, people, we have to be more careful.
We will definitely be much more careful.
Yeah, good. Well, thanks for the beer. You folks have a good night.
She goes.
Well,
She's got grit,
gusto.
spinority, something my mom used to say.
Your mom used to say.
I grew up thinking that was a real world. When I was in school, I got in trouble.
You got in trouble for using spinority in a paper and then arguing back when they mark you down for it.
Yeah, I'm still salty about that. Sorry.
Don't apologize. I'm gonna go get the rest of the dinner. You got everything you need?
I think so.
She goes back to her pile and realizes she's missing something.
No, wait. Can you get the
She snaps her fingers trying to remember the word.
The what?
the thingies for the sausages?
The buns?
He returns, watching her gesture.
No, the thingies, the pokey things.
The fire poker?
No, the thing that holds the sausages and you poke it.
The skewers?
Yes, God help me, the motherfucking skewers.
All right. Hold your horses.
He needs to get them.
Skewers. They're called skewers. What are they called? Skewers. For skewering things. You skew the hot dog on the thingy, on the pokey, on the...
He returns with the hot dog skewers and hands her one.
Honey, come on.
Jesus wept. It's called a skewer.
Stop yelling at me.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at me because this stupid thing.
The skewer?
Yes, the skewer. I mean, I know the word is skewer, but for that moment, the word was just there on the top of my brain, and I could not, for love or money, dredge it up.
You just have to keep asking me.
I don't want to keep asking.
Well, you'll have to, and that's okay.
Fuck you, it's okay. I don't want to have to ask, to have to.
Just stop yelling and let me do things for you.
I don't want you to do that. I want to do it for myself. I don't want you.
Jesus
to have
Christ,
to.
it's like having a toddler again.
What did you say? What?
No, I'm sorry. I just mean, oh, come on, monster. You have to let me help you. It's my job.
Well, it's a terrible fucking job. Jeez.
I love my job.
You say that now while I have a skewer in my grip.
Yeah, well, I got one too. I can defend myself.
He takes both skewers and kisses her. The whirring of the machine becomes the sound of wheels on the highway. They are back in Camper Van Beethoven. David drives.
I felt a funeral in my brain and mourners to and fro. Kept treading, till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as all the heavens were a bell. And being but an ear, and I and silence, some strange race wrecked, solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then.
Wow.
Well, that's still in there somewhere.
They look at each other. He takes her hand. They drive. And they arrive at the St. Elmo ghost town. It is a pretty wonderfully preserved old mining town. Anne and David look around like gawky tourists.
Well, shit. St. Elmo puts Calico to shame.
This looks like an actual ghost town.
Yeah, probably with actual ghosts.
Are you sure this isn't a movie set?
David pulls out his phone.
Well, that webpage I found said that, shoot, it's taking a bit to open. Well, if I remember correctly, this was a mining town until the 20s, and the railroad stopped coming here, and
And everyone moved away.
Not everyone.
Oh my God. I was just thinking that it looked so real. I expected someone to come walking out of those buildings.
Well, it is real.
Franklin?
It does appear to be Franklin, though this guy is dressed pretty normally. He's wearing a shopkeeper's apron, though.
Excuse me?
We joked about finding you here.
Why?
Because we met you in California.
I've never been to California in my life.
Oh,
Name's Wilson.
hello, Wilson. So do you just like mining towns?
What?
Your outfit, your costume.
You mean my clothes?
It's not a costume?
It is not a costume.
Yeah, I'm getting crap reception here.
Yes, the cell reception up here comes and goes. Sometimes comes, mostly goes.
Well, it wasn't important.
Knowing where you are is always important.
I suppose that's true.
And you look like a man who yearns for clarity, security, certainty.
Or at least a clue for how to get to civilization.
I own the general store here.
Oh, so the store is really a store.
That is generally how it works, yes.
Do you sell
Maps? Yep.
in your,
Open? You betcha.
is there,
Someone working the till? Go on in.
great. We lost our Colorado map somewhere in Arizona. I'll be right back.
Wilson studies Anne for a moment.
Yes.
Just wondering what you'll need. Generally, I'm good at that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, generally, people all want the same thing. A soda, rock candy, a magnet that says St. Elmo, etc. I'm guessing, though, that's not you.
I could want a magnet.
Nah, I'm going to have to think about it.
He steps away, reconsiders, comes back.
I'm not really the type to offer unsolicited advice.
You're not.
She gestures in the general direction of David.
That was all entirely solicited.
Okay.
The thing is, maps are good, but first you have to know where you're going.
Well, we know
And then you got to know what you'll do when you're lost.
if you're lost.
No. When you're lost. Trust me, it's going to happen. Let's both think on that.
He goes back to the store and leaves her alone. She watches him go with some consternation. Her phone rings.
Oh, Katie.
He answers the call. The wind picks up, occasionally carrying a kind of moan and electric buzz. The reception is terrible, and a kind of buzz or whir eats over Katie's words.
Hi, Mom.
Sweetie, can you hear me?
Sorry, Mom. What? Cutting out.
What, I'm sorry, honey, you're cutting out.
Mom, where? This is terrible.
Sorry, the guy who owns the store said the reception here is terrible. Let me try.
She walks to a higher location.
Is this better?
The guy who. Are you still. Park? Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Oh, bother.
Look, I'm to tell you that I started Hicks contractions and
Contractions? Are you in labor now?
no, not rehearsal for it is what my OB said.
The rehearsal?
She tries to climb higher.
You can't have the baby. We're in Colorado.
I'm not having. You're in. Call me back?
What?
What?
Honey, I'm going to call you back when.
Mom, I'm back when.
And the call cuts out.
Honey,
She tries to call her again.
hello?
Buzzing, whirring, wind, but no Katie. The call goes to voicemail.
Shoot, voicemail. Just wanted to let you know that we're in Colorado at an old mining town, and I really hope you're not having the baby right now. I don't even know if this message is going to get through. I love you so much, honey. We're going to be there soon. I'm just imagining that you're worrying right now, and you cannot worry. Please don't worry. Everything is fine. We're fine. You're fine.
She hangs up. Looks at her phone.
I'm fine, sweetie. I'm fine.
Buzzing, whirring wind. David comes back with maps, followed by Wilson. Anne is fighting back tears.
Hey, look, Colorado, Nebraska, and Minnesota. And
Katie called.
yeah,
I miss her so much. I miss her. I miss.
hey, we'll call her again.
Sure.
We'll be near civilization in no time. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about the reception.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault either.
David has opened a map and studies it.
So this road out of town, this will get us to the 24.
Now, you heading north or south?
Eventually, we want to get on 76, and then
Right, through Denver. So, yep, that's the way to go.
David finds a place to sit and scribbles things on the maps, highlighting their route and so on. Meanwhile, Wilson approaches Anne.
I believe I have sussed it out.
What?
He hands her some paper and an envelope.
It always seemed to me that if I had an important message, the simplest technologies suited me best.
This is for me?
Indeed it is. For the letter you want to write. You'll need this though.
He hands her a pen.
Oh, thank you. But
Remember, make a plan now for when you're lost. This is my letter to the world.
that never wrote to me
The simple news that nature's told.
with tender majesty.
Now you've got it.
He goes. She takes out her notebook, realizes that her pen is, in fact, gone. In fact, the pen Wilson gave her looks just like her pen. David comes over with the map of Minnesota.
hey, what was the name of the town where your mom was born?
Nelson,
Nelson. Ding, ding, ding. 10 points for me.
Shows her the map.
I found it here.
well done.
It's on the way. We could stop there if you like.
Oh, I haven't been there for years.
I've never been there.
No, surely you have.
Nope, never.
Oh, then we have to. I'm not sure I'll remember how to get to the old farmhouse.
But once we start driving, you'll remember.
Oh, and we have to go to the old schoolhouse.
What schoolhouse?
The one-room schoolhouse where my mom went to school.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I must have been 7 or 8.
With your mom?
Yeah, she wanted to show me where she learned to read, where she learned to write.
Yep, we should do that.
You don't mind?
Mine? Heck no. This was part of the original plan, wasn't it? For me to experience your childhood.
I guess it was. Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll have to find someplace to camp in Nebraska.
Lake Ogallala.
Is that endangered?
No, just pretty.
Yeah, pretty works. And then we'll find some prairie. There's got to be prairie somewhere in Nebraska or Minnesota, right?
Right? Yes.
Sound of wheels on the highway, and then the distorted clicking and whirring of the machine. And we're in the doctor's office again, both Anne and David.
The MRI didn't show that, no.
But
Excuse me?
sorry, I thought I heard a but.
Yes, well,
The doctor skips forward a few images and points to things on the new image.
here, here, and here, we see some little dark spots. Do you see those?
Yes.
What are they?
Scar tissue, essentially.
So what does that mean?
Well, the scar tissue is evidence of previous strokes.
Previous.
Strokes, yes. And small bits of scar tissue like that, well, they don't have to be alarming,
Except?
except this one, right here. This is an inconvenient spot because that's the hippocampus. It's where memory is stored, but it is essentially the indexing spot of the brain. You experience something, the memories are sort of routed through here, and that's how we form and store them.
But that damage, that means
What this means is that remembering new things will be difficult. And this other dark spot is in the part of the brain that's critical to language learning. And this,
The whirring, clicking, roaring of the machine roars over the doctor's comments, and silence, and birdsong, and wind in birch. David and Anne have come to a lush spot in what might have been a town or a homestead. Overgrowth over what might be walls. Broken fences mark what used to be someone's property. Another gentleman, Grant, is with them. He's a farmer.
It's got to be here.
I'm telling you, there's no schoolhouse.
the guy at the bait shop drew us a map.
David holds a hastily scrawled map.
I remember those lilacs by the road. I remember the long line of pines.
The guy at the bait shop is not your most reliable resource, is all I'm saying.
I guess his map drawing skills should have been a clue.
The peony bushes, those were by the front door, I swear.
Still, thank you, Franklin, for taking us out here.
Grant.
Grant, sorry. You just look like
Yeah, I
this
get that a
guy, but-
lot. Some kind of something in my face. Anyway, as I said, you're not going to find a schoolhouse out here.
You sure?
Look, I've lived here all my life. Yep. Well, nearly all my life. I went away to college, then came back. But anyway, those 40 acres are my dad's original property. I added all of that after he passed. And that stretch behind us, that's where my grandpa's first homestead was built. Yeah, so I know this place like the underside of my left scrotum. Sorry, ma'am. I just know this property. This whole area, I know it. And what I'm telling you is that there is no old schoolhouse here anymore.
But I remember exactly. This is the road we drove up. This is where we parked.
I know that's what you said, but
The smell of lilacs. I knew this was the place. I knew I'd been here.
and I get this is super important for you.
It is.
And it should be. I mean, your roots are here, knowing your history, knowing where you come from, that's important.
So where is it?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. This is it.
This is what?
This is
Where the schoolhouse was.
Where it was?
well, fuck.
Oh yeah, it's been gone for 5-6 years.
No.
Fire. They think maybe arson.
No.
Or just stupid kids getting high and being stupid.
Oh, Mom. Oh, no.
And turns away from them a little wobbly.
Well, that's a shame to have come all this way.
Oh, you can still see it, the foundation anyway.
I wanted to see it, to be in it.
The Historical Society has pictures, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, is that far?
Super close. You know the history farm kind of thing right on the edge of town?
You're gonna have to draw me a map.
Grant does so on the back of the other scrawled map.
So there's a main street here that intersects with the highway here.
Can you pause a sec?
David approaches his wife and does the fast stroke assessment.
Hey, monster, can you look at me?
Yes. Yeah. The lilacs.
Smile.
Smiles an uneven, irregular, lopsided thing.
You small.
Shit. Great.
Anne is having a stroke.
Frank, Grant. Sorry, where's the nearest hospital?
If you take the highway into town, it's right at the main, and then maybe I should ride with you.
Yes. Anne? Hey, monster, we have to go.
No, Rabbit, Robbie. I'm sorry.
Shh. It's okay. You have to go now.
A darkness descends, a whirring, a clicking, and a persistent beep of a machine. Anne is holding her head, holding her eyes closed.
Anne,
Beep, beep, beep,
hi, Anne. Are you with us?
beep, beep, beep.
Do you know where you are?
The beeping shifts, and now there's wind through tall grasses, the rushing, almost plaintive moan of the wind over prairie. Anne is sitting near some tall grass. She is engulfed in a dark fog. We can hear the way that fog somehow distorts sound, the echoey, distant sounds of voices, of beeps. Out of the fog, Ranger Andy, dressed kind of like a ranger, possibly a fox ranger.
So, do you know where you are?
Is this
Is what? You're not from around here, are you?
the prayer? No, wait. The prairie?
The prairie. Yeah, I get ya.
Is it?
Is it what?
Am I here? Is this the prairie?
Or is it here?
She taps Anne's forehead.
What?
I mean, that's an easier question.
This fog, I can't see.
Or in your case, perhaps it's not.
Where's it from?
I don't think I should answer that. I'm Ranger Andy.
Anne seems to accept this new reality, the confusion clearing. Andy sits near Anne, takes her backpack, and begins to empty it of its contents. Imagine a random and useless collection of things that Anne has gathered on their travels. By the end of this scene, the contents are scattered all over the ground.
Are you really a ranger?
Are you really a person?
Am I?
So, are you a person?
I think so.
I'm not convinced. So, you were hoping for the prairie, were you?
Yes. I was told it's disappearing.
Ain't that the truth?
Beep, beep, beep.
What's that beeping?
Focus. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
Anne looks at Andy.
So, The prairie. What are you looking for here in the prairie?
As much as I can find.
Greedy.
No, I'm trying to put it all back. I'm trying to see and route it
Route it?
while I'm still able. I want to fill it up, my memories, my recall. I want it to be full so that when it eventually happens, when it's finally midnight, the darkness won't seem quite so vast and empty.
But you're a damaged vessel.
No,
You're a cracked pot, a leaky ship. You can keep filling and filling, but it will just trickle out the bottom.
so what am I supposed to do?
Learn not to be afraid of the dark.
In the distance, we hear David calling Anne's name.
Did you hear that?
I did.
So I'm not crazy.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Who is it?
My
Helpmeet?
my
Guardian? Bodyguard?
robot.
Good one.
The beeps and voices begin to sound clearer and closer. Quickly, Andy gathers Anne's belongings into the backpack.
Did you hear that? We're getting closer. Now here's the deal. He'll try to patch you. He'll want to. Just let him know he can't. And that's okay. Oh, here. You'll want this.
Ranger Andy hands her a beautiful red apple, takes the backpack and bounds into the high grasses. The darkness abates. The fog lifts. A curtained off area in an ER, or at least the suggestion of one. David is there and Anne opens her eyes.
Hey there, monster. Thought I'd lost you.
Sorry, I wandered.
That's one way of putting it.
Where
ER? Thank goodness we got here on time.
did we?
Yep. Gave you the good stroke busting drugs.
I saw it.
So what?
The prairie.
No, we were at the schoolhouse where the schoolhouse was.
No, David, the ranger told me.
What ranger? Where?
Andy, she told me. I can't. It was right here.
Who the fuck is Andy?
The fox ranger.
Whoa, maybe you're dreaming.
Oh, maybe so.
She looks down into her lap, the apple, and holds it up to David.
Aha, see?
You stealing food from the other patients while I'm not looking?
Andy gave me. Never mind.
She looks at him, clarity starting to return.
Oh, Katie.
Hey now.
Katie will be so upset.
What? No, she won't. What are you talking about?
She didn't want us to go on the trip, and now look what I've done.
Okay, shh. We'll call her when you've had a chance to rest, okay?
You call her. I'm too ashamed.
Honey, of what?
I don't want to seem diminished to her. I don't want her to look at me and think I'm feeble, a burden.
She won't think that.
But I will be eventually. I know she's probably preparing for the worst, but I feel like I'm still figuring out how to be alive, what to do right now, how to be here now, and not already living in the future that may not even happen for who knows how long. I don't want to be stuck in my own fog, already gone.
We're not there. You're not even close to there.
You don't know what it's like. as an intelligent, capable adult to look at a thing like this thing, which I know is edible, which is a fruit, which is red and from a tree, and that I have eaten maybe thousands of times in my life, could describe the seeds, the stems, but still cannot pluck from the air the actual fucking name for it. Don't say it. Don't tell me. Apple. For Pete's sake, apple. Penny, apple, flower, sunrise, cup. What is that from? But look at me. This is going to be my life. This is going to be our life. I am so afraid.
I know. Me too.
You're going to want to patch me. But I'm a cracked pot, a leaky vessel. And I hate feeling so stupid, empty.
You're not stupid. You're not empty.
I'm becoming emptier every day. Every night I worry that that will be the night that everything will spill out, that everything will just vanish. And I'll wake up and I'll be gone and you'll be gone.
I'm here. I'm always going to be here.
Until the day I wake up and say, who the fuck are you, fucker? And off you'll pop.
Not going to happen.
I might say that.
Oh, I know you might, but I won't go. Well, let's call her.
Yeah, we should do that.
David places the call. While it rings, he kisses her. Wolf answers.
David? Shit, I've been trying to call you.
Have you? Sorry, I had my phone on silent in the hospital.
Wait, you're here?
What?
We're in the hospital.
Oh, shit. Now? Like, now?
We're like 4 centimeters, so could be a bit or not. Like, I don't remember any of that from childbirth classes. Wait, you're in a hospital?
Wolf, look, take a breath. Go be with Katie. We're in Alexandria. We'll be in Minneapolis as soon as we can, and we'll explain everything.
Sounds of driving, sounds of hospitals, sounds of whirring and clicking and the crying, barking of a fox, and a baby squalling with rage. David and Anne are in Wolf and Katie's hospital rooms with the baby, who squalls and squalls.
Now there are some lungs.
Wolf takes the baby from Katie.
Who wants her first?
What's her name?
Ava.
Man, she's got lungs.
The baby continues to cry.
Your father and I have something to tell you.
Mom,
I've had a stroke. I've had several, apparently.
I know, Mom.
She pulls out an envelope.
You gave me this last night.
What's that?
The letter that you wrote to Ava. You said I could read it too.
Oh, of course, the letter last night. Yeah, of course.
She begins rummaging in her pockets.
Oh, hold on. I have something.
Mom?
Triumphant, Anne produces the penny from their first rest stop. David takes it from her.
What's that?
1958 wheat penny.
Oh, some of those are worth something.
Yeah, sorry, I looked it up. This one's only worth maybe 15 cents.
Who knows? Maybe it'll increase in value.
Exactly.
He hands him the penny.
Trade you for the kid.
Wolf takes the penny, transfers the baby to David's arms.
Hey, Ava, it's Action Dave.
The baby is not calling you Action Dave.
Yes, you are, aren't you? Oh, look at her. She is perfect.
The baby will not
And
stop.
and you want to hold this loudmouth?
Of course I do. Come here, baby.
David places the squalling infant in Anne's arms.
What did you name her?
Ava, Mom. Ava Sophia.
Ava Sophia. Hello, Ava Sophia. What is all this nonsense?
And the baby stops crying.
That's right. I told you it was a good idea to talk to you so that when we met, you'd recognize me. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm going to do my best to remember everything about you, but you're going to have to help me. You're going to have to be the best one remembering things because you're new. I know that's a lot to put on your tiny shoulders, but look at you. Look how smart you are already. Opening your eyes. Yes, it's me, your grandma. It's me. I'm so glad to meet you. Everything in the world. We've got to show you everything in the world.
The darkness encroaches, but Anne sings to the baby, temporarily holding the darkness at bay. End of play. Great, everybody come on screen, please. Wipe your eyes. Thank you so much. How do you like that reading? Completely unrehearsed and yet beautiful and wonderful. Thank you, actors, for your wonderful performances. Technically, we don't call them that when it's a reading, especially unrehearsed, but thank you for giving your voices to this script. While our friends out in YouTube land catch up with us, I'd like to open the door to you all, asking you to respond to this script. How did it make you feel? What did you love about it? What confused you? Thoughts like that. Not all at once.
I've done a couple of new plays before, and I was really struck by how well crafted this one is in particular. The characters are rounded, the pace is great. I mean, it seems like a finished product right off the bat.
Yeah, and yet it's pretty early on in its stage. Yeah, that's great. Tira's a wonderful writer.
I really like the conversational aspect of the language. It's very economic, and I like that it's. I mean, you know, pretty much about halfway through the play, you really kind of know what's going on, and I appreciate that there's like not a lot of like on the nose kind of discussion about that fact, right? And I think it allows the audience to sort of like fill in the gaps in a way, like, you know, kind of she's trying to fill in the gaps. I think it allows the audience to fill in the gaps as well.
Yeah. Other thoughts?
The relationship between David and Anne is really strong. Something that I really enjoy throughout. Their playfulness, their honesty with each other, and the way that they take care of each other. But it's not in a way that feels not realistic, which is nice. So there's argument in it's just a natural thing of like being frustrated, and both of them being frustrated, even though, especially when he has to be honest about his frustrations with it, but also I'm here to help you. So it wasn't very much like, I'll do everything for you. And it was what we never got into that sort of, you know, we didn't get into that sort of like melodrama there about that. It was just a very real way of how the relationship goes from being kind of equals to one of them moving into more of a caretaker role and what that looks like. So I appreciated the way that was written.
Yeah. I also think that a rehearsed version of this, the actors would build a life. It's sort of like if the language is the iceberg, then we get to build the bottom of the iceberg, and everything that's said would be laden with so much more meaning and history behind everything, and emotional depth. But I also felt that the language as it is kind of like gave you some really good clues. I didn't feel like I was ever lost emotionally with how we would be engaging with each other throughout the play.
They did get 2 weeks, 1 week of rehearsal, of course, on Zoom at Seven Devils New Play Foundry. So they did get a little more time to work with their characters and to work with each other. But I thought you all did such a beautiful job tonight for a first time read, or a table read, as we would call it in theater. Audience members, I think that we are caught up and that it's the end of the play for you also now. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and write them in the chat, and I will be happy to read those out loud to our actors, and they can pop in and answer them if they want. But let's hear from some of the rest of you. Sarah, Carl, thoughts, responses to the piece?
Honestly, I mean, as an actor, there's just so much to play with in this, and it doesn't matter what role you're in, what character you're playing. Every character is kind of already so well developed, because let's be honest, we have never read this with each other, and the fact that I think that we blended together so well is A, not gonna lie, patting ourselves on the back, but B, is also due to the writing and due to how much was already there for us to work, because it's so much easier to create characters and to create characteristics of characters if it's kind of there for you.
Yes, I agree. And somebody said earlier, kind of the conversational aspect of it. And I definitely felt that, well, especially with Katie, felt like things I would say, which is always nice. Not as easy with the doctor, but that's because I'm not a doctor and I don't say those things often. But yeah, it was very natural feeling in my mouth. And normally, like, phone acting can be kind of hard, but it didn't feel hard,
Yeah.
I would love to see all of the technical aspects. I feel like a lot of times it was creating this kind of disturbing type thing, but then in the end it felt kind of like magical, like when Ranger Andy comes in, and I would like to see how those are different from each other.
I want to talk about Ranger Andy, but I'm going to hit pause and take a question from our YouTube audience. Michael says, this play has me thinking a lot about the legacy we leave behind. How do you think these characters are shaping their own legacies by the end of the play? And really, that's an astute question, because it really has more to do than with just Anne and David and the family unit. I'm thinking specifically of India's characters, Wendy and Wendy, Candy, and Wendy talks a lot about that, I feel like.
Yeah, I read it through once before we did this tonight, and reading it out loud or hearing it out loud, it definitely struck me like, oh, there's a lot. This is a lot about climate change, and I hadn't picked. I was focused more on the characters when I read it through, and listening to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is about what Anne is losing, but also what our world is losing.
Yeah, Tira writes a lot about climate change, and I think this is beautifully woven together in the losing our minds and losing our planet simultaneously. Any other thoughts about the legacy we leave behind? How do you think these characters are shaping their own legacies by the end of the play?
I kind of took a clue. So, at the beginning of the play, David is he's sort of like, loose and kind of like, sort of a little edgy, a little bit more carefree, and yet through the play, if he calls himself he calls himself Action Dave. He wants the baby to call him Action Dave, and yet through the play, at every time there's a point where they could take, the path well worn or take the path less traveled. He seems to be less daring than her, and so I'm wondering if by the end of the play he wants to become more daring, like she is. Like she's kind of proven with everything that she's dealing with that he could probably take that road less traveled by himself. And I'm sure at that point he knows what's coming, and he's probably denying it, like any a husband would in that situation. But I'm wondering if, kind of, even though this is ostensibly her journey, that he's maybe taken a similar journey and will become that Action Dave character that maybe he isn't at the beginning of the play.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
I work in the field of historical preservation, and so a lot of the decisions that you make about what a legacy is based on what is valuable at that moment, and also what you predict will be valuable in the coming years. So it felt like a lot of this play was about determining what was valuable and what was worth fighting to keep and what was chaff, what were you going to let go. So I don't think their legacies are determined in this play. I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to figure out what part of what I have is valuable right now am I going to fight to maintain and pass on. And that's what preservation of a legacy is all about.
Yeah, as you were saying that, I kept thinking about the wheat penny as a symbol for that, trying to determine the value of the wheat penny in the future. Interesting.
Which brings me sort of back to Ranger Andy. Anyone have thoughts on Ranger Andy?
Well, I don't feel that any of the characters that I played feel like real people yet. I mean, there's a lot of this story that feels like people going on a pilgrimage and they have guides along the way. So they don't feel like they exist in reality to me, honestly. And that is only driven home at the end with Ranger Andy not feeling like Ranger Andy actually exists in the real place. So I'm curious about how all of the Rangers fit together. And then you have the trucker at the beginning.
All the Franklins in that too?
I think that, yeah, I think all of those chorus characters, they don't really feel like real people yet. So, and the fact that I don't know, I'm thinking about like the setting, dramaturgy is always very interesting to me of like, where are we? Why are we in this particular place? Why do these people appear in this way? Why do they talk about these things? And to me, it feels very much like a play on some storytelling traditions that have tricksters and things like that. So that's what I'm getting from this. That's why I don't really feel like they're real people. And so I just have lots of questions and curiosities about that. Probably more playwright directed of where do they fit, and are they people? And if they're not, then what is their purpose? And yeah. So my answer is I don't believe they have legacies because I don't think they're real people. And if there's any legacy that they're trying to preserve throughout, it's hers.
Not the planets.
I think that that's something that is talked about at the same time we're talking about hers. I just don't think, for me, it's not strong enough to say that that's really what it is, because I think we would have had more closure on that somewhere else, and we didn't have that.
I kind of want to say, reflect on what you said, because one thing I always do. It's just what I do. Is I look at this as like what interpretation would it be if both like Anne and David were both actors of color, and then the chorus was all white, vice versa. Was it makes like to me it's interesting, and it's not neither a good or bad thing, but I do think a lot of the dialogue would mean something completely different if, say, Anne was played by a Black Indigenous woman that we're trying to upkeep their legacy. And yeah, I wonder what that would look like. How much would it change the play? What else, like, what legacy would we be trying to upkeep that is positive for people of color in this country? So it's something that I just like to explore, that I would like to explore with this play is kind of switching that around and seeing what that would look like.
No, I thought about that too. The whole time I was reading it and then realizing who we all were. The play is completely different if we are all different. The play is different right now, is a certain way right now because of what I played. So yeah, so it's just like it is an interesting thing where if you do flip things, I think it changes where we're going and what we're talking about. So
in the version I saw, Rommel, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
Well, in the version I saw, David was played by a Black man, and chorus 2 was played by an Asian American man, and in chorus 1 were white, and chorus 3 was African American. For me, I love to go back to Ranger Andy. One thing that and this does not take away from the race conversation. For me, it just explains a little bit about my casting. For me, Ranger Andy is, well, I have several ideas about this character. I think that she is either the mother figure, right, who is passing down to the daughter Anne, that says he's gonna try and fix you. You're a leaky vessel. This is all we've got left, right? Is this foundation, the shell of a person. And then of course she has her own daughter, and then she has the baby, her granddaughter, right? So you have this kind of trail of women, and it's like she missed her mother at the schoolhouse where she learned, where she was educated, where she learned to write, which is what Anne does. And then she meets her in this prairie. But my other thought about her mother is that it's about the fox rather, is that it's a God character, right? I mean, she starts off the thing saying the prayer, the pray, what is it? And this fox character is, and the imagery that the fox uses of the vessel, of course, pulls right from biblical imagery, except when the fox says it, she says, you're cracked, you're broken, you're not gonna get fixed, right? And then of course the fox hands her the apple. And so it's important for me that chorus 3 is a woman for several of those reasons. One, just in case the fox is her mother. And 2, I think I prefer the feminine imagery of God. And I think that the passing on of the apple of knowledge, right? The apple of knowledge from the fox to the woman, to me is a really powerful image. And then of course she presents it to her husband, and he's like, where the fuck did you get that? Like, are you stealing from other patients? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I love that character, and I'll be interesting to see how Tira, if this gets put up somewhere, if there's a workshop production of it, or or whatever, to see what she does, because I'm very curious about all the characters, but about that character too. And I think the journey narrative that she's playing on, and the cliches, I do think that they, it's comedic relief. Franklin again? No, I'm Grant. I'm a farmer, but I also love how they give an actor an opportunity to do 4 different roles in one spot, which is a lot of fun for me. And it really is like the journey when you go these places. I have lived so many places, and now I'm living at home in my hometown. And I am looking at people, and I am seeing them from my different walks of life. And I'm only 41 years old, right? And I look at a person on the street and I'm like, oh my God, that's so-and-so from, and so while it seems kind of cliche, it is also, for me, it is like, that is my reality. I am so confused sometimes about where I am and where I'm and the context for things. And maybe that's my own damage, but it is in that way, sort of, it's like everybody is a repeat of somebody in this sort of doppelgangerish sort of experience of my journey, at least.
Well, and I think also it's a bit of projection of the individual, right? Because all the scenes with the Rangers, there's or the strangers, there's moments where it's like a duet, right? It's her and the doctor, or her and the Ranger, and it's hard to watch those scenes and not feel like, to some extent, to India's point, if this isn't a real person, is this a fragment of her own personality that's kind of trying to get her reeled back in and connected back with, the normative aspects of her life that it, like you said, is leaking out. So yes, maybe it's a God character, maybe it's a real person, but I feel like there's a certain part of it that is her own projection of what she needs at that moment.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, and then of course the fox runs away with the backpack, taking all the memories with her, right.
Oh, can I comment too real quickly? Like for me, just experiencing the play was, I kept experiencing it. There's all these vistas and kind of scenery that's spoken, but I thought it would be like from a stage setting standpoint, lighting design. I was experiencing play in like sounds and light, and how that's a big. I think that could be a really big part of the show. I love the ending. The ending, that's a really, in my opinion, like a really great use of stage lighting that kind of like conflates both, the close of the play, but then it also the darkness becomes a character. It's alluded to, and I think that'd be an interesting thing to play with the show, is like how the sound and the light can help have this multiple sort of like connotations, and can be characters. It's a vista in one moment, or it's the stars above in another moment. All the scenes in the van, I felt like I was there, and I just, there was this kind of like blue light in the van, with us the whole time. And then the all the outdoor scenes were like, time of the day. It's like, okay, is it sunset? Is it dusk? That kind of thing. It was really kind of very very visceral to me, at least experiencing it, being in the scene and also experiencing other people, doing their scenes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. I want to be respectful for your time, and it has just now clicked 9:31. So I thank you all so much for helping bringing this play to life with your words, with your characterizations, rehearsal free, on the spot, with all your beautiful theater magic. So thank you each so much. Thank you, Tira. Thank you, audience members. I appreciate you. Thank you. I love you. I wish this weren't virtual.